just going through this Commander tape, things like that. Always on Thursday, I like to give you a couple of matchups to keep an eye on. I think you're going to see Diggs travel with Terry McLaurin in this game. Then the last 3 times they've met, so I think Dan Quinn feels like he's got something there. So go ahead and match him up. Now they have to figure out what they're going to do with Dotson and Samuel as well. I worry about that a little bit, especially with Samuel. You guys there with me on this one?
Yeah, me too.
How interchangeable are they in terms of, will they play the slot, play on the outside, or are they kind of married to one spot?
I mean, as far as the
receivers.
The receivers, they move all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah, Samuel really does. I mean, Samuel is like Debo Samuel.
They'll put him in the backfield.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you got to worry about. That's why I think that I was talking earlier about the screen game, and I'm not trying to wear everybody out about that. But the one thing this defense looks like that it has a little bit of a problem with is when it has to deal with, well, maybe the running quarterback, but also the screen game. Yeah, 3rd and 23, and they throw a screen for 21 yards, something like that. You know, come on. Can't have that happen.
The overall concern, though, is low. Like, I got to put it in context.
Yeah.
Is it a factor that's less than ideal? Sure. But if the screen game is the biggest thing you have to worry about, I'm pretty sure Dan Quinn's going to be able to get a handle on that by the second half and be in control of the game.
Yeah, but I kind of felt like, though, that they haven't had a handle on that. You know, we've seen it a couple of different times where teams have run it, and then they've been able to get positive yards out of it. And that is about getting up the field and, you know, getting on guys, but it's also about linebackers, you know.
But we also got big stops in these games, you know.
Oh no, in
the fourth quarter.
No, they've got some stops. That's the thing that I worry about the most, of them trying to help Carson Wentz not get killed in this game.
Yeah,
you know, what's the one thing that if he's, you know, Carson Wentz could F this thing up too, you know, getting balls tipped and things like that. That happens to him quite a bit. So if he's trying to float a screen out to the right and it gets tipped, I mean, he's capable of doing that. But I also worry about Dallas is just, you know, pinning their ears back and trying to seeing, you know, guys got 9 sacks last week. I think you're gonna have to play a little bit better control this week, because we talked about this. This guy will make mistakes.
Oh, sure. Dude, they should
absolutely make mistakes.
NFL Films should do an NFL Football Follies Carson Wentz edition.
Yeah.
And they could run it for probably 24 hours on the network and just eat up a whole day worth of content with the amount of dumb plays that he's made over the course of his career. They were absolutely brutally terrible offensively the other day. Question for you, though, because I haven't watched them yet. Are they a good screen team? Well, do you see them having success?
That's what I'm saying, because they've got backs that are capable. Yeah. It's something I haven't seen. But if you're watching Cowboys tape, where have they had some success? Where teams had some success? And, you know, you look at, I think that the Bengals tried to throw a couple, didn't turn out like as well as you would thought. Okay, great. But last week in the game, when they were really getting pressure, when there was bad offensive line play, what were the Giants doing to you?
Yeah.
You know, the RPOs. I don't know why the Giants didn't go back to the RPOs. That one time he pulls the ball and goes out and hits the tight end in the flat. I mean, that's kind of stuff.
It's a great play.
It's a great play design. I mean, I could see trying to do things like that with Carson Wentz moving him around. But to my point, I'm just looking at what are the things that could give the Cowboys problem. You used to think, oh, it's the running game. It could be the running game here, but I don't think it's the running game. I think it's the thing where you try and take advantage of their aggressiveness in this game, and that kind of worries me a little bit. Zach, you said you watch these guys. What did you think about Charles Leno?
Yeah, I don't think he's very good.
He's the left tackle for these guys, and I agree with you on that. I think Sam Cosmi on the other side is better. So if you're going to attack a guy in this game, I think that the matchups with whoever's rushing off the right side, and I might even this might be to line up Micah Parsons over there and let him rush off that right side, because of the 2 tackles. I think Sam Cosmi has some problems over there on the right side. But if I'm going to match up against Charles Leno over there, and I don't think he's very good. So that might be an area to keep an eye on, the left tackle for the Commanders there as well. I'm worried about their tight end though, Logan Thomas. Okay, now you're starting to get Curse is starting to practice. I don't know if Curse is going to play this week. So now I'm trying to figure out, okay, because Curse is the one guy that I kind of feel like could cover a little bit better than what we've seen with Wilson. But, you know, if you watch the Giants game, where were some of the throws they went to last week?
Yeah, they went to
the tight ends.
Sure.
So, yeah. So is, Wilson, Hooker, those guys. Logan Thomas is a big target down the field. I didn't feel like that Carson Wentz used him very much, last week. And maybe that's something that, again, you watch tape, a screen, a tight end, things like that might be something that the Cowboys need to be a little bit worried about with that player right there.
The one thing, so when I'm thinking about the first game of the season, the Bucs, one of the things that was working for them offensively was the jet sweep with Julio Jones.
Yeah.
And then you come back the next week and you could tell they figured it out because like Dan Quinn and company did, because the Bengals tried it with Jamar Chase a couple of times and it went for nothing.
Exactly.
Sure. So
and maybe to Gavin's point, the screen game is not a factor this week. They do figure things out and stuff. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, you would think Dan Quinn says, okay, clearly, he's seeing the same stuff you are, Brada, so that's probably a point of emphasis in practice this week, I would imagine.
But Jahan Dotson might be the guy that could beat you here. As we're focusing on Curtis Samuel and Antonio Gibson's another guy, their first two games, they were throwing the ball to him quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't as much last week, so he can also hurt you out of the backfield. But maybe Jahan Dotson's the one guy, because I think you have to focus on Curtis Samuel.
He's got speed. He's got legitimate speed.
He can really beat you deep.
Yeah, he can. That's to say the vertical passing game to him could be a problem there. That was something out of Penn State when you watched him play. A lot of shots down the field with that guy. So that's it. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm nervous about the matchup inside. I wonder how quick they're going to go to Jason Peters if, in fact, you get problems with Payne and Allen playing over Farniak. I wonder how quick they're going to go to
this Washington team has felt like they could bully the Cowboys ever since they got those two guys.
Yeah, and that's when you start to talk. I don't think that the Commanders have to, since no Chase Young, they're one of those teams that blitz 35% of the time, but they don't get pressure. They don't get a lot of pressure. Their pressure comes from their linebacker, Davis, the linebacker. Yeah,
Jamin Davis,
Davis, that's where they get the pressure. So, but you have to worry about if you're going to try and be a running team, you got to be able to handle Payne or Allen in this football game. And so I'm wondering how quick do you go to Jason Peters in this game, not to get bullied, to use Gavin's words, which I think is absolutely right. How quick do you go to not let Payne nor Allen, get after you in this game?
Allen is so good. I mean, he was dominant last week against the Eagles.
Yeah.
When you watch them, you have to control him in the middle. If they're going to have any success defensively, it's because of him in the middle.
How early? I would have done it last week when Jason Peters was saying, "Leave me in."
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I'm starting Peters this week.
Yeah,
I
would too.
I know that he told Nick Eatman that this last game was like his preseason game. I know I made that comment yesterday.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, I'm ready to play a whole game. I am ready to play an entire game." So
it should be a non-factor. Then it should be a no-brainer.
I think if Farniak, if we go to the first drive of the game and Farniak is getting ragdolled in there, I'm immediately putting Peters in there.
Because you ran all over the Giants, but they were without their best run defender on their D-line and Leonard Williams.
Right.
So the numbers told you going into that game, people can run on them without Leonard Williams. It ain't just you.
Yeah.
So now you're going to show up and you're going to have these monsters in the middle of that Washington defense, and it might be a little bit more tough sledding. Actually, it definitely will be more tough sledding. So I'm thinking Peter should be getting the start for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would like that to be the case the rest of the year, but we'll see what the Cowboys want to do.
Yeah, I'd immediately go there. I worry. I think actually Smith plays better with Peters next to him, though. I think there's just that confidence factor that he's going to help me. He's not going to give up inside pressure. If I mess up, he's going to be there to clean up the mess because he's a veteran player. He's strong, the experience and all that. I just feel like, to me, go there right off the jump. Okay, and the last thing real quick, too. I think these guys have got two really good corners in Fuller and St. Juste. The thing about it is, though, if I had to go after a guy, I think I go after Fuller in this game. Both these guys have had 4 pass breakups each in this game. I think St. Juste, I think he's a ball hawk. I really do. Fuller makes plays too, but man, to me, maybe the double move stuff, I think they're going to take some shots down the field on these guys. That's something. Both these cornerbacks are super aggressive. I think you're going to see the shots. Max protect that thing. Take the shots like you did in the Giants game. Both these corners will probably bite on stuff underneath to try and get the, I think you can get a deep ball on both these guys and then maybe take those safeties out of the play a little bit so you can get some space.
Love what you said there. I also think you could maybe get St. Juste on a PI because sometimes he doesn't look for the football. He'll play the hands of the receiver when they go up, and you might be able to get him being overly aggressive depending on who your officiating crew is. That is also something we can note in the pregame.